Hey guys, it's Vera Lance. Welcome back to my channel. The content of this video is highly inspired by my insane amount of scrolling through YouTube that I stumbled upon an edit of Eloise Bridgerton and Theo Sharpe. The editor really knew where to hit the spot. Period/historical dramas mixed with Taylor Swift will make me weak in the knees. Those two are what basically make up my weakness. Now, I've never really given Theo and Eloise's storyline much thought because they only had like a few scenes together and they were not the main focus of the season. But pure blame goes all towards that edit. My imagination skyrocketed and I was thinking all of these possible plots to their story, and I could already feel the drama, the spice, the angst. Like, this is going to be heartbreaking. Like, look at this little snippet from the edit.
Put your lips close to mine, as long as they don't
Forgive me.
touch.
I'll put the link right here and in the description box below so you and I will share the same agony that I've been experiencing these past few days. And I won't divulge how many times I have repeated the video, but if I'm going down, you're going down with me. And by the way, book spoilers, I know that Theo Sharpe is an original character that was created for the series. He was not originally a part of the book. Eloise's love interest was Sir Philip, Marina Thompson's husband. Okay, to explain, Marina died in the book. Then Eloise wrote to Sir Philip to offer her condolences, and that's how basically their love story started. You see, I don't know if I have the willpower to move on from Theo. He has already warmed up to me, and I believe that Theo and Eloise have the potential of a great storyline with their similar passions, intellectual equals, and the merging of two worlds that were once separated. Let's get into the reasons why Eloise and Theo should be endgame.
What's your name?
Eloise Bridgerton.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Eloise. I'm Theo Sharpe.
Eloise and Theo first met during Eloise's trip to a town outside of Mayfair. There she met Theo Sharpe, a printer's apprentice at a shop where the lady Whistledown supposedly has been printing her scandal sheets. The two first started on the wrong foot. Theo assumes that Eloise was just there for mere gossips on the latest eligible bachelor, and Eloise in return thought of Theo as another man who thinks women have such feeble minds. Eloise is wealthy and therefore privileged. Theo is a man and therefore privileged. Kind of a familiar storyline, huh? It started off with pride for oneself and follows prejudice against others. But the more they got to immerse themselves with each other's presence, they soon realized that they hold similar interests and ideologies. Eloise shortly found that Theo was a writer for the appeal in defense of women's rights. Over time, the two bonded over sharing new thoughts and ideas. In short, Theo is all for justice and women's rights, which is implied that he sees women as an equal and not as someone who is obligated and inferior to man, which is precisely the kind of guy who is perfect for Eloise. For a bookworm like Eloise, and as someone who takes on the role of a feminist who has a detestation for man and traditions in general, Theo embodies everything that opposes to Eloise's presumptions and generalization. Like, who would have thought she would find great connection with someone who is associated with her resentments? What's good about their relationship is that they push each other to see beyond their differences despite belonging to different backgrounds, and as well as encouraging empathy in all forms. Theo's just the right kind of guy who would break Eloise's misconceptions and for the better would question everything she believes in. We've seen and heard Eloise talk about having no intentions to conform to what was expected of her. This includes marriage. She has no interest in participating in the activities that women had to do to attract a suitor. In season 2, during her social debut, the scene with Lord Morrison where he argued with Eloise and how he insisted that ladies are intellectually inferior to man, Eloise couldn't stand it. She didn't care if they didn't get to finish the dance or that other people are looking. She didn't want to spend an extra second wasting her time with someone who has a small mind. She tried so hard to get away from all of it, but still attempted to engage because she didn't want to disappoint her family.
My rebellion is not some party dress I put on to play a part, Mama, and it is certainly not some accomplishment I have developed to help me attract a suitor. No. I am a disappointment to you, so just allow me to take my leave and go to bed.
Hence precisely why she seeks Lady Whistledown's identity from one woman to another in hopes to shed light to the unfair treatments women are going through. Now, I'm all for Eloise representing spinsters or old maids, but if she does get to find someone who doesn't make her feel any less or below him, Theo Sharpe, and not as a childbearing person who could run a household, but someone who sees her as an equal and a partner. That's the storyline that I would love to see unravel to one of my favorite characters.
Why do you think I ended things the way I did with you, despite wanting to do the very opposite? I did not want her to see the two of us together. I did not want her to write cruelly of you.
The reason why Eloise and Theo's relationship started in the first place was because of Lady Whistledown. Eloise trying to uncover Lady Whistledown's identity, and Theo working at the printer shop where the Lady Whistledown produces and distributes her paper. While the shop is clueless on who Lady Whistledown actually is, Theo and Eloise started their own investigation. Playing the roles of political radicals, it's not a surprise that the two would combine their intellectual knowledge and capabilities to fight for justice. While Lady Whistledown is admired and is commended for her detailed way of reporting the juiciest gossips, her writings also had a way to cause more harm than good. Hence why Eloise is so eager to unmask her identity and implore her to use her popularity for the greater good and talk more about pressing issues that needs to be discussed. And Theo, sharing the same passion for equal rights, would undoubtedly go through with the plan and offer assistance as much as he could.
So you're an admirer of my work?
I will not go so far. It is serviceable, I suppose.
And yet you have come far.
We know that Eloise wants change. She mostly only talks about wanting change because what hinders her is her family and the society she's surrounded with. So she is by far helpless to take action. And if she does, however, decided to act upon it, their good family name would suffer the consequences. This is where Theo comes along. Being surrounded with people who share the same sentiments and passion would boost the desire for a more just world. As according to the article, the power of connecting with like-minded people states that finding others who are pursuing their passions and desires can bring a huge boost to your pursuit of the lifestyle you desire. Eloise and Theo developed a connection through talking about theories and arguments. It ignited the desire to pursue justice, and as they bonded over time, the events led to them confessing that whenever they read about new ideas, they think of each other.
Perhaps you might share your thoughts on them.
And as the article furthermore explained, when you're talking to like-minded people, you begin to catch the enthusiasm of the other person. It works both ways, and you both end the conversation feeling pumped for what's next. It's a great way to get that boost forward, to get the encouragement you need to move to the next level. This is the right kind of boost to pave the way for progressive outlooks and ideas, especially with the ton being so nosy and gossipy and judgy. This would be an ideal storyline for change to come into the picture. A relationship whose mission is to pursue justice.
I care about you. And if we continue on like this, I could not live with myself if you are the one who has to face the consequences.
Now that we've established Eloise and Theo's relationship in terms of personalities and how they complement, let us take a closer inspection to the reason of their struggles. This is something that has been a resurfacing topic of argument in their relationship and is the biggest cause for concern, and that is their highly different backgrounds, meaning they come from different worlds. Eloise, though expresses her distaste of elegant society, is brought up from a wealthy noble family. This means certain standards are expected of her. She needs to be a good representation for the sake of their family name. This means no scandals, conform to societal norms, and most importantly, don't do anything rascal that could ruin your family's good name. And this is a very important matter that has been discussed in the entirety of the 2 seasons, how it is vital for the Bridgerton family to remain respected and admired. Whether Eloise likes it or not, because of her social status, anything she will say or do can be used against her and her family. Everyone has their eyes on them, especially with the popularity of her sister Daphne has collected when she married the Duke and caught the eyes of the prince. Eloise was under pressure after following her sister's footsteps, or more so, attempting to escape her mother's expectations after a successful debut for Daphne. It is safe to say that grand balls and a line of suitors is not the picture-perfect life Eloise wants. And so she thrills herself with books or occupies herself with the mystery of Lady Whistledown's identity. She has yet to find a kindred spirit, excluding Penelope, who shares her wild and free spirit until Theo. Not much is known specifically about Theo's upbringing, but all we know he is a working-class man, and because of that he would be deemed as an unsuitable suitor for Eloise. When the two of them shared their feelings with one another, their relationship bonded stronger and Eloise continued to visit Theo, and as a result, this led the queen to believe that Eloise is Lady Whistledown. When Eloise visited Theo to tell him about the queen's accusations, the discussion about different classes was brought up when Theo wanted to break things off with Eloise, in fear that Lady Whistledown is going to write something cruel about her. Penelope, who is Lady Whistledown, repeatedly warns Eloise not to start a relationship with Theo, and now with the queen involved, she had no choice but to ruin her friend, in hopes to protect Eloise from unfavorable outcomes with allegedly being the Lady Whistledown and simultaneously protecting Lady Whistledown's anonymity. The article was about Eloise associating unchaperoned with improper company. Take note that in the Regency era, they were still very conservative and traditional. They were not that open to new ideas. They actually even considered that as a foul thing to do. And with Eloise being a woman to begin with, interacting alone with someone who has a status that is seen as inferior, this is severely ruinous. If you think that the other Bridgerton sibling scandals were extreme, this thing with Eloise might push it to the next level. As it happens, we can already tell that Eloise and Theo's relationship is off to a rough start, and this is precisely why they should be endgame. Let me explain. Daphne represents the fake dating to lovers trope. Anthony, on the other hand, embodied the enemies to lovers trope. And of course, they had their fair share of chaotic mess, and Eloise will for sure have her cards dealt the same. If there would be a change in the storyline, which I hope there would, Eloise's love story would be about forbidden romance. I also want to mention that Daphne and Anthony are illustrations of achieving standards and expectations, and since that creative narrative has already been done, it would not be realistic if all of the other siblings would follow the same sort. There is bound to be one that would go against the usual route, and the belonging to different classes, or informally speaking, the rich and poor trope, would diversify the storylines. If I were to be a part of the screenplay writers, I would definitely go through with Theo and Eloise. I mean, they've already changed a lot. Why not make this drastic step? And I think they're on the right path, incorporating societal issues at the time. But I feel that bringing it into light as a main narrative for a beloved character, it would make it more impactful. Eloise and Theo as political radicals and an interest in the pursuit of justice would be the right kind of twist to open the minds of the ton. Just imagine how clever it would be that their relationship started because they seek justice and equal rights, and now as it turned into something, they would be the ones to finally bring justice and equal rights amongst all, the union of two worlds. And as what the actress who plays Eloise, Claudia Jessie, said, they both have this yearning to be outside of what they know. Theo really shows Eloise that there is more to life than these balls and those ridiculous things that Eloise doesn't want to be a part of anyway. I believe that pushing with Eloise and Theo would bring the traditional and conservative society into a modern perspective, thus proving precisely the whole theme of their relationship. Another thing that fuels my desire for this couple to happen is because I long for drama mixed with slow burn. And you know, with the forbidden romance trope, which is specifically tied to heartbreak, I will expect for some tears to be shed. Season 2 ended with Eloise and Theo walking away from each other as they silently come into conclusion that they will never work, with Eloise not wanting to hurt Theo from all of the external factors that would come if they do take a step forward in their relationship. and Theo thinking that Eloise was just like the other girls who just wanted to use people like him for entertainment and pleasure.
It's all right, Miss Bridgerton. You dipped your toe into my waters, trying to make yourself feel better about the unearned advantages of your birth. Now you can go back to your life. And I can go back to mine.
I predict that the two would lose touch in season 3. For the reason because of what Lady Whistledown wrote. And also this season will focus on Penelope and Eloise's friendship, especially with the main romantic characters were to be Penelope and Colin. There would be glimpses of Theo and Eloise yearning for each other here and there, but no big changes will come. I believe that when it's time for their season is when the spice will come together. I can imagine them keeping their relationship at first a secret where they would sneak out just to see each other, and then one day they were unfortunately caught by a family member, and in turn Eloise would be scolded for her impropriety, and then she would go on and make a heart-wrenching monologue about this unfair world and how she loves Theo so much, and her mother and Daphne would understand and support the relationship. Her brothers, however, would need more convincing to do, especially Anthony, but Kate will be the one to change his mind. And now that the family has accepted the couple, on to the bigger fish, the whole town, and more following chaos would ensue. Now that is the storyline that I'm looking forward to and I'll be fairly interested to watch. But if the writers do, however, decide to follow through with the book, I have full trust and faith in them that they would execute the plot perfectly. Just like what we've seen with Anthony's story, how a lot of people loved Anthony and Sienna together, but when Kate came into the picture, it was all well written that fans were obsessed with Kate and Anthony. But rest assured that Theo and Eloise's potential storyline would forever be as dramatic and heartbreaking as I picture it in my head. And Theo Sharpe, you will be the subject of a potential love interest, and whenever I hear the song Treacherous by Taylor Swift, I will have a clear picture of you in my head and in my heart. Okay, I should stop. This is uncomfortably dramatic, and so that's it for the video, guys. And just like Theo and Eloise, please comment down below your thoughts, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
If I know for sure, it will be a relief. This not knowing makes it feel like torment. To turn over in your mind the events of a mere conversation, to look at all of the evidence and still not be sure, it is a pleasing, stimulating, thrilling kind of torment.